I have to say, this has been one of the worst mornings I've had probably all year long. Um, I mean, I'm never. I know sometimes when you declare something, there's a such thing as hyperbole. You might be saying something that you don't entirely mean, or maybe it wasn't as bad as you thought it was. I can assure you, it was not me stretching things beyond what the true conditions were. So I got up at 8 something. I went to sleep a lot earlier than I normally do, at least by my standards. I usually go to sleep at probably like 3 in the morning. It was like it wasn't even 2 o'clock when I just kind of started to close my eyes and rest. So after going to sleep and waking up at 8, I start to make sure I have all my stuff because I had an incident roughly 2 or 3 weeks ago where I left my keys at the place, and like I wasn't able to get get back inside until after someone else let me in, which entailed me waiting for them for probably around an hour, like some considerable amount of time. So I make sure I have all my stuff. And after making sure I have all of my things, I also decide I'm going to go and see if about going to a different Starbucks because the one I went to before, not this past Saturday, but before that, the one I would normally go to was not working. Like their internet was acting up, or rather, usually when you try to use their internet, they have a key that when you click it, it'll send you this pop-up that will like say, hey, are you willing to consent to da 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 da, and then you agree and then you're connected. So after going up to a different one, not the same one, a different one, their internet pop-up does not appear like at all. And then I go to, excuse me, let me rephrase this. The first one I go to, the internet isn't a thing. They just don't have any Wi-Fi, which annoys me. So I go to another one, and the internet there is not working either. Then I go to another one that's probably about a mile or two away, and they have internet. It says I've connected to it, and then it starts kind of acting up, and it won't give me that same pop up. It just won't appear. So then I go to the one that I would go to all the other times, and I'm figuring they're not going to work because that's why I left in the first place. And sure enough, theirs is not working. It is acting up. It's not doing the pop up thing. So then I decide to go to the one I went to last week, and finally, after an hour of driving and 5 different Starbucks, have now shown up at one that actually has at least a semblance of working Wi-Fi. And I cannot overstate how infuriating it was to get up early thinking, oh, we're going to have even more time for this stream. Great. And end up having to spend an entire hour driving back and forth to location after location. I got to a point where when I went to I believe it was the third one, I wanted to just say, forget it. Like I was just sick of everything involved. Um, there's actually a person that's parked next to me. They parked over the line, so they're closer to me than normal. And that's actually a thing that I've never touched on, but it's something that we could probably discuss, which is that a lot of times when I go to the different Starbucks, I notice that there's a series of parked cars, and many of them will be there from when I first arrive until probably they are either there after I leave, or maybe they leave at some point after I do. But I've noticed a recurring theme where there's a lot of these parked cars that are in these different spots, and many of them have tinted windows, like windows that are dark, make it hard for you to look inside their vehicle. And the theory I have is that it's a bunch of homeless people looking for somewhere that they can park their car and not have to run into trouble with the law or whatever. I don't have any proof of this. I haven't watched or observed these. Like I have better things to do than just stare at people's cars all day. But I have noticed that there sometimes when I go to some of these different locations, they'll have entire lots where it's just a bunch of people like inside, just cars like on top of each other, just all piled up. And you won't be able to see inside of a single one of them. And I think that's because a lot of times it's homeless people that are trying to starve off any attention or any unwanted attention, I should say, from law enforcement. God, what a week it has been. I didn't even get to say this until probably well, I didn't even start to notice this until last week. So Monday I had two interviews. One of them was for a delivery driver position. So this job where they have you taking packages and throwing them all over the place, and you have to drop off 300 in one day or whatever. Ah, God, terrific. The other one was it's some kind of, they call it a behavioral technician. These are people that go and assist children that have some kind of like, well, some, they have adults as well, but like people who have some kind of like special needs or otherwise some kind of disability. And I'm open to both jobs. I prefer the driver one because I just always feel like if I take something that has to do with people, there's going to be a person that tries to like be weird and like in the sense of, oh, he was mean to me or whatever and get me in trouble that way. I just, that's always like the premonition I have. Um, but when I go to the second interview, the first one has 7 people there with me. We all fill out this paperwork. The guy tells us that we're going to hear back in 4 hours if we got the job or not, or if we're being, taken forward to some next process. I hear nothing back, so of course I know that it was a waste of time. But the next one, the other one, they tell me I'm going to hear back from them throughout the week and that they want me to have these types of documents and da 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 da, right? So I'm kind of, I don't really know what to expect. I'm thinking maybe they want me because on the one hand they did seem as if they were interested, asking all these questions, and there were some other people that were supposed to go to the interview that didn't go to the interview. So I'm thinking maybe they might, say something, indicate that they're interested in proceeding or going forward with me. Um, the next day there's nothing. So on Wednesday, I'm like, all right, cool. I got this marathon on TV. I'm gonna sit back and watch it. Very rarely do I get to just stay at my supposed home anymore. Like I very, it just feels like every day drive here, drive there, drive everywhere. So I said, okay, good. To this day, I can just relax. I can just watch some stuff. Just cool off, for basically. Um, I was called on Tuesday night by this employee for another delivery job, and it was weird because normally they call me in the morning, early afternoon, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not at 8 at night. I didn't see the message until like 10, so I figured probably not to call him back until tomorrow. So I called the number back and I explained, hey, this guy reached out to me about working here, and the lady that answers like, oh, can you come in today for an interview at 3? And I'm like, because again, it's the one day where I'm theoretically going to have some time off to just kind of not run around town like a crazy person looking for a job. But I acquiesce to it. I end up going to the place. Um, After this interview, which is like 10 minutes long, I go the next day. I wake up. Was it Thursday or yeah, Thursday? Okay, so the next day I wake up with a surprise. It's an email from that same behavioral technician place, and they say, basically, it's like a Dear John letter. Thank you for your interest in our company, but we're not interested in you. Best of luck in your search. Da, 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 right? All the usual tropes of wasting someone's time with these stupid interviews that go nowhere. Um, but it really dispirited me because I remembered that the context surrounding the interview was that the one I had was that this was a place that wanted someone to work for them, right? Like that's why they put up all these help wanted signs, all these please apply for us, etc., etc. But also, this is a place that had scheduled a group interview with me and 2 other people, and the 2 other people that were supposed to be there never showed up. So it's like, this is how you treat the one person that actually showed up for your stupid interview. You just tell them, hey, uh, thanks but no thanks. Like, really? The one person actually came to this damn thing. Yeah, we appreciate you popping up, but we're not really interested in you. Yeah, never heard that before. So after this happens, I'm just kind of annoyed. I don't really feel like going anywhere. And sure enough, for the rest of the day, I don't go anywhere. I just kind of sit around. I'm just it's just it was really dispiriting, or I guess upsetting. So the other person for this delivery driver position, not the first one, the second one I spoke to on Wednesday, tells me that that there's some forms they want me to fill out, et cetera, et cetera. They never send the stuff, so I contact them again. I'm like, hey, what happened? I'm figuring they're probably doing some more of their usual, speak out of both sides of your neck, pretend like you want the person in one breath, and then pretend, say that like actually show how much you don't want them in the next. Um, they have me fill. They send me some stuff on Friday. I fill it out, and then they're talking about it. That's like an ongoing thing. I don't think I'm going to get it, but well, like because I already said before, I've had a position in the past where I filled out a bunch of paperwork and then nothing happened. But we'll see what happens with them. I'm just not optimistic. God, it never gets any easier. Yeah, because no way all these cars belong to people who work there, and they all just so happen to have tinted windows. I'm telling you, I was at the Starbucks I normally would go to like in the past, not even 30 minutes ago, and there's an entire like space. So about 5 6 cars are like a little. Now I'm not gonna call it a lot by itself, but there's an entire space where it's 6 or 7 cars with tinted windows. And I insist to you, every time I come there, I could come there as early as 8 or 9 in the morning. There's nothing but cars there. There's cars there in those spaces, maybe not the same ones, but there's cars there in those spaces almost at all hours of the day. It's got to be people who are homeless living out of their car. That's what my theory is. Because they all have tinted windows. And that lot is actually I like it quite a bit. It is big enough to where if enough people do it, they probably won't notice. Like no, like there's so many cars going in and out of that place that if you put your vehicle there, you're probably not going to be noticed as like, oh, that car's been there for 2 days. So I think it's homeless people. Which I mean, like I said, I'm not going to tell on them. Trust me, as a former and probably future person that doesn't have somewhere to stay, my sympathy is with them to the 10th degree. I'm just pointing out that it can be really irritating when you show up somewhere early or like during the day, whatever, and then you can't get a spot, and you see these same cars parked here like, at all hours of the day. Like there's never a period where okay, you know what, I can come back in 2 hours. There's gonna be someone that get like they have that main part in front of that Starbucks over there, like the front entrance. Cars do come in and out, but that side on the back, you'll see those vehicles from 8 or 9 in the morning all the way up until probably 5 6 7 8, like all day long. So you'll have no such luck if you want to take one of those spaces. No, I just can't believe I had to drive all the way just to end up in the same spot as last week. I guess this is just gonna have to be the one I go to from now. It's not that much further than the other one, but it's uh it's definitely not my preference, I'll tell you that. It's a great place to park if you're homeless because like you said, no one would suspect the amount of cars that come and go. It is. And the only thing that's kind of unfortunate is that if you're someone who's trying to actually go up there for something, you'll find yourself limited in terms of like there's a lot of spaces, and there is a whole section where normally no one would ever even try to park there because it draws more attention to themselves because where it's like right in between the drive through and the front entrance of the Starbucks, but on that right hand side, or that rather that left hand side, um, and the right hand side is one with all the with the drive through and the front entrance. The left hand side, people just park cars, and you'll see the same 8 or 9 cars there all day, all with tinted windows, all with I mean, it's like I said, I just sat back and I noticed, like, what? Wait, these cars all have one thing in common. You can't even see inside of them barely. That's not a coincidence. I'm telling you, man, the world is so awful. Like when we're like coming up with strategies of where to park our cars so that we can live inside of it and not have any trouble with some place that probably wouldn't want us there for longer than a few hours. Like it's really depressing to think about just how. And man, like I've said before, I talk about the bad relatives, and they are bad, and we're gonna get into them today. But I just think it's so sad that we're at a point where people really have whole strategies of how they're gonna like avoid, getting in trouble with the law because they don't have anywhere else to park their vehicle or to, go. Like it's really sad that that's the state of how things are now. Let me see. Can I prop this up on here? Uh, the problem is stuff slides too much. Yeah, I'll just keep it down here. Let's see. We live in an age where everyone's in their own little bubbles. Yeah, but it's even worse when you consider that you have a lot of like a lot of these different companies that'll get mad. Oh, this guy's been parked here all day, like report you or whatever. But you don't think it's sad that like they don't need they're because someone who truly wants to go to your business or whatever, they can park somewhere else, and they do have enough spaces to where that group doesn't really stop people who want to come up there from parking as well or whatever. But you don't think it's sad that like you have this person who's down on their luck, and they come up to park somewhere, maybe because they have nowhere else to go, whatever. And it doesn't cost you anything, right? It's not as if it's an expense out of your pocket. Like, oh, this parking space, they charge me 100 a month to keep. No, so like it really is just people being pricks when they try to like get someone in trouble over being parked somewhere for a long time. So this is the era where empathy is truly non-existent. That's why I was so surprised last week when that lady asked me if I was hungry. I was very shocked. No, I was not excited for that delivery driver position anyway because they were talking about if you're in the car, you can't play music and you can't eat, and I'm like, and I guess the way I look at it is this: with every job, there's a bottom line. There's like some amount of work they want you to do usually. So if the bottom line for that job is driving and taking 300 packages and getting them delivered to wherever in city or state or whatever, if someone is working for you and they're meeting the bottom line of delivering 300 packages a day, does it really matter if they're chewing on a bar of candy or if they're bopping their head to Taylor Swift? Like I that's why I said I don't understand the logic of these employers. It feels as if they go out of their way to ensure that the people working for them are as miserable as possible. Like if you can't do anything that could remotely bring you joy or kind of lighten things up, because like sometimes when I'm just driving by myself, I put on some music. It doesn't stop me from getting to where I have to go. And it's like, how creepy is it to be recorded for 7 or 8 hours straight while you're in the car? Like, I just think it's weird. Well, homeless people aren't profitable. Right, but all I'm getting at is it doesn't. It's of no great expense to these different like companies that have buildings. If two or three or four people park outside for the night, it's really not something that is going to hurt their bottom line or affect them in any massive way. That's what it's about. It's making you as miserable as possible and treating you like a slave. But like you get my point of how if someone is doing the work that you want, why does it matter if they're listening to music or if they're eating some food? Or I mean, why would that bother you if you're the employer and this person is performing the duty to which it's like to your preference? Why would it affect you if it's just I just think it's weird. I really do. I think these jobs get so obsessed with trying to control someone, to where they're like, okay, well, I guess I'll make this even more difficult for this person. Like, it's not enough they have to deliver all these packages by a certain amount of time. They also need to, make sure that they're not listening to music or eating something. Just weird. Anyways, Akatsuki Merchant, you probably didn't watch Robbery in Broad Daylight, but the way that stream went was that it was me talking about this person who, same relative that started that, like, initiated the homeless saga. Um, Me talking to this about this relative who had asked me in July, at the end of July, for a loan of $500 that they said they would pay me back for, and how after I did this, they just would not say anything about it, right? So my car insurance every month was about $78, and this month, and right after I finished my last Saturday stream, I got called by this person. I didn't answer because every time they call me, it's always something bad. It's never good. Literally every time they call, it's go do this. Did you do that? Did you? It's just no actual concern of are you all right? Nothing. Just it's always, you know, some kind of like ordering around, right? So, um, they tell me that the insurance has increased to 200 for this particular month, and this comes again completely out of the clear blue sky. And I say to them, wait a second, what happened to the 500 that I gave you? The loan I gave you, couldn't you use that to pay for the? Oh no, I spent it on this, I spent it on that. And I'm like, no, that's not what you told me you would do. You said you would pay me back. So that's why I called it robbery in broad daylight, just complete scam. They better never ask me for a cent ever again. That's it. People just get worse and worse. Like I'm never not astonished by the absurdity. Like, I'm gonna ask you for money, and then after you lend me the money, I'm gonna tell I'm gonna pay you back, and then for 2 months, I'm not gonna say a word about it. Then I'm gonna ask you to pay some sum of money that is smaller than the amount that I asked you to loan me. And I'm not, and when you say, hey, you can pay the amount that you're asking me for now with the amount I gave you. Oh no, 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 I already spent on something else. So they're terrible. Mm. No, I wasn't even that surprised because I actually had a relative who told me that that person wouldn't pay me back, and I said, I don't know, I've never had a problem with them paying me back before. Like, yeah, this is the largest sum of money ever that I've given them, but I couldn't imagine like them legitimately just being like, yeah, I'm not paying you back, or like just You know what I'm talking about. Like I couldn't imagine doing that, but yeah, he was right. He was absolutely correct. I told him he was too. I said, man, I should have listened. You try to do somebody a favor, and hey, no good deed goes unpunished. I'm telling you, it is like a cartoon out here. What I was gonna say also is that the employers. So what I thought was interesting is that I was getting flashbacks, like almost I won't call it PTSD, but I was remembering the period of like 2018 and 19, and to an extent the earlier part of 2020, and how during that 2 year plus period, I'm not kidding. I applied for jobs left and right, not every day, maybe not every week, but very commonly, right? And the prevailing thing that would seem to happen was you just wouldn't hear anything back from these places, or you get an interview that goes nowhere. Some mixture of both, right? And it started to kind of, this is just the way I perceived it, seem as if employers were really good at running their mouth and making it seem like they want someone, but then when a person actually appears and manifests, they go, are you good enough for our company? Nah. That's what it appeared to be to me. That so many places were really good at putting up now hiring signs, please work for us, oh help us, we need someone. And then after you start applying, you hear nothing back, or you go to the interview and nothing comes out of it other than your time being wasted. And it seemed like during the virus, because I got hired by a retailer and by some food company, it seemed as if during that period, a lot of employers were truly desperate. A lot of people were not working. A lot of people were not willing to risk their health for some, crappy position that's only going to pay them a few bucks an hour anyway. And it appears that in their desperation, they were more open to people than they had been before. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that it's during that period where somewhere finally, you know, goes, all right, we'll give you a shot. But now that the virus is kind of receding, or it's not as big of a thing as it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they just seem to have gone back to their old ways of like, you're not good enough for us. You're not, you don't meet our standards. I mean, and it's even more infuriating. Excuse my pronunciation. It's even more infuriating when you consider that a lot of these employers are basically full of garbage, in the sense that they're so like, if I told you my job doesn't need you, right? Like, and I didn't, maybe I don't say it directly, but that's like what I'm implying by going, oh, we don't care if you apply, it doesn't matter. You would think, oh man, well, I guess I might as well not bother. I guess they found some great people. But then, and I've mentioned this before, I've seen multiple employers come on different, like on the same exact websites I've used before, begging for someone to work for them. Please, please work for us. I mentioned that back in April, there was a job I applied for. They had me sit down for two interviews, one with one lady, one with two ladies. And the after that, they told me to fill out some paperwork. I started filling it out. They said, you're hired. After filling the stuff out, I say, hey, what's the deal? And after I contact them, I get a Dear John-esque letter email from this lady, and she's like, thank you so much for applying, but we've decided to move forward without you. We appreciate the time that you, and I was pissed because I said I've never seen it to where a job will say you're hired and then basically not even give you a chance, like just completely do a 360 after having you fill out a bunch of stuff for them. Um, so after this happens, I see them back on that exact same website. I'd say a month ago, 2 months ago, the same lady asked me if I can do an interview. I just roll my eyes. Um, I didn't even, bother responding. I was actually going to say this woman right here. She has very nice hair. nice glasses, an extremely short skirt, like very very short. Like I'm kind of like I guess with me, I feel like I have this basic humility where there's like certain attire I could just never appear comfortable in, and it's like this is one of the shortest skirts I've seen in a long time. That thing goes like it's like right below where like the triangle. I mean, that's crazy. But hey, I'm not complaining, I guess. I just I don't know, I just couldn't imagine like being comfortable with such little covering. Like maybe if she had that with some leggings or some other type of like conciliatory thing, I would that'd be whatever, but man. And it's always interesting to see people have like a because she has this sweatshirt on. It's always interesting to see people wear jackets with either like with like basically nothing on their legs. Like if it's so cold, why don't you put some pants on? Just saying. I remember kids in my old high school used to do that where they would come wearing shorts with like these big jackets on. I was like, if it's so cold, why do you have shorts? Like, okay, God, that thing is tiny. People have no shame anymore. I'm telling you, they just they'll do whatever. God. Oh, okay. She's with some guy. He was waiting in the driveway. Or I guess he was parked somewhere. Okay, but Akatsuki merchant said choosing beggars. Yeah, they were much more open to hiring people during that period of the virus, and now it seems as if they're back to their old tricks. So I do have one place where things are kind of looking optimistic, but I'm still not going to hold my breath because like my old recruiter used to say, you can be hired one day and fired the next. Now, Akatsuki merchant, if you want to take a picture with me, it'll be $40. If you want me to sign something, it'll be 60. And if you want me to send you a video message, it'll be either 99 or 100, depending on my mood that day. Um, I'm astonished at just like I still think it's crazy to charge so much for a photo with someone. But honestly, I guess I shouldn't be surprised because the problem with celebrities, especially like actors, is that they have people around them who just what other word can I use to describe this? Who basically overinflate their ego, who tell them that you are a special person, you're a great person, you're an important person. You're someone who matters so much and means so much that people will spend copious amounts of money just to be next to you in a photo, just to have your name on a piece of paper, just to what's something else? Go to an event that you're also in or at rather. And I said that like with a lot of the actors that are online, I can kind of look at the fact that many of them won't respond and go, okay, you know what? It's the internet. People are, we're on here. We sort of, I don't want to say turn into something else, but it's a lot easier to disassociate yourself. Um, right? With what's going on than like if you were, I think you know what I'm talking about. Like it's easier to pretend someone doesn't exist, or that people like to just flatly ignore people, because online a lot of these actors are getting so many different comments and just like engagement on their stuff that realistically they wouldn't be able to respond to all even if they wanted to. So you kind of like give them the benefit of that. You say okay, whatever. But like the part that drives me nuts is that even when you're in front of these people, it feels as if there's this barrier, like there's almost like this unspoken of rule where they are better than you. And they're so much better to where if you want to just do anything relating to them, it's going to cost you some sum of money. If you want them to speak to you, hey, if you want them to take a picture with you, hey, again, the autograph thing is whatever to me because I've already explained before. That's like scalper material. That's something that they do all the time. They get a bunch of stuff signed by somebody, and then they sell it at some price that's like two, three, four, five times higher than what the person paid for to get it signed. So like that, I get that. That's something that once you put it out there, the person who you signed it for can do all types of stuff with it. But it's really interesting to me how there's such a like a gap between the famous and the unknown. And sometimes it's like you don't even have to be that famous of a person to exercise this belief. You have some actors who have only been in maybe like two movies, three movies, five movies, maybe a movie and a show. And if in the show they were in, they were like a supporting character, or they were someone that was only in like one episode. But even with that tiny bit of credits to their name, they still feel like they're something or someone of such significance that you must pay them copious amounts of money just for them to even acknowledge you. And I think that's nuts. Well, let me see what's on here. Oh, what do you think about being cognitively impaired? I mean, it's not like it matters. They're going to nominate him again anyway. So they made their bed in this mess, so they're going to lay in it. That's not even new. Like I remember during the campaign, they were talking about he couldn't remember stuff, and he was having. Well, my favorite moment was when he was said, "We hold these truths to be self-evident. That you know the things." So that, like I said, they've known this for years, but they're not going to abandon him because they're trying to like keep the continuity of government, and it's not very often that you see an incumbent president kicked out of their own party. So he'll be renominated, and you know, I guess we'll just have a coin flip as to whether they can make it through next year or not. But no, that's old news. You should ask me that 4 years ago. No, I'm never surprised by the lack of any actual substantive thing here, but it has exacerbated. Yeah, but I'm saying it doesn't matter. They're still going to vote for him again. They're still going to have him as the nominee. You're still going to see his buddy Obama come out and go, "My friend Joe is in need of a second term, and you should vote for him." And even though he can't remember where he is or what he's doing, I'm confident that in 4 years, he'll be able to lead America to a new prosperous beginning. I mean, like, come on, you already know what's going to happen. It's whatever. These people just sit around looking for any way to. Oh, great, more of my favorite. They always do this every time they pull up somewhere. So obnoxious. Everywhere they go, they just pull up music blasting. You can't even hear yourself think. Like that's ridiculous. But whatever. Why is it that you were forced to retire at 65, but you can run for president at 80? There's no age limit on running for office. You could run for the House at 80. You could run for the Senate at 80. You could run for governor at 80. Hell, you can be put on the Supreme Court at 80. So that's the reason they don't have any type of age cap on running for stuff. It's really just up to the voters to be like, thanks but no thanks in that case. I see a Kotsky merchant left again. He always vanishes. No, I'm not. That's the minimum age I'm talking about. There's no maximum age. So once you hit 35, you can run for president for the rest of your life if you want to, which is basically what Biden did. It's definitely an interesting career trajectory. It's like I'm gonna get in the Senate, and by the end of what 2 terms, I'll try to run for president. Oh, that didn't work. I guess I'll just stay in the Senate until for like another 20 years. I'm run again. Oh, I didn't get anywhere. I guess I'll just be VP now. Or I guess my career's over. Oh, I guess I'll run for president one more time. Oh, I actually won. Wow. Now I can finally ask a question in the stream. Hey, I appreciate it. Oh, you know what? I was waiting for you to show up. So listen, um, next month there's going to be some kind of convention in San Francisco. I don't live in that area, so it's going to cost some amount to get over there. But get this, Mark Hamill is going to be there. Like he's going to be at the event, right? And you can take your picture with him, dude. You're not going to believe how much it cost to get a photo with this guy. Let me see if I can put it all the way up. I know it's probably backwards, but it's for the first option with 2 people, it's $399, and for the second one, it's $450. So if you want a picture with Luke Skywalker himself, you better fork up that $400. And if you want a picture of Luke Skywalker with you and a couple of friends, you better fork up that $450. It's insane. When I saw those prices, I was shocked because I like I really thought it was a joke. I was like, because we were talking about how Raimi wants $90 to take a picture with him, right? And the lady, when I took the professional photo with her, was like 70. These people just they really think we just worship the ground they walk on. Who is really going to be paying those prices? Well, people did pay 90 for Raimi, at least. So the way it works is that they have a limited quantity because they can't have these people just sit up here all day taking photos with the whole state, for example. And I kid you not, Raimi's was sold out on Friday. So enough people bought it to where it sold out. But when it comes to Hamill, at that same event, there's no one else that's charging any amount close to that. So, for example, they have William Shatner there as well. He's from Star Trek. It's like a little bit over $100 to get one with him, which is still very pricey. But compared to Hamill, it's like, yeah, I'll take it. Um, there's other actors too that are like 60, 70. Like those are the only two I've seen where just by themselves they're, 100 plus. Dude, when I saw those prices, the first thing I did was screenshot. I said, "There's no way someone is going to pay for that." Like, well, I'm gonna skip paying my phone bill this month so I can take a photo with Mark Hamill. Skip some meals for the month so I can get this picture with this actor that doesn't even know my name. Dude, I never thought I would see that. But you know what? It goes back to the title of the stream, self-parody. I guess I should go like this. Because these actors will tell you, "Oh, I love my fans. You guys are the reason that I'm so successful and I'm able to get in front of a camera and speak and earn a bunch of money that most of my fans never make. Oh, I love you guys so much." But then look how much money it costs those same fans just to take a picture with that person. Because, like I told you this before, I know they control these prices. Is it just for these pictures? Yes. So, for example, if you wanted to go to this event, you're in the UK, right? You'd have to pay money to fly out here, pay for a hotel, pay for a car to even get to the event, pay for a ticket to get to the event, and then after that, you can finally spend your $400 to stand next to Mark Hamill for 2 seconds. That is insane. I'm serious that this when you pay for the ticket prices for the actor, it's separate from the price of admission. So like when I went to that event, 30 to get in, 15 for parking. The picture with the lady was like 70, and then it was another $10 to have them give me the digital copy of the photo, so like the PNG file. So just to get over there, you probably I'll put you like this. If you actually wanted to come to California to see Mark Hamill from the UK, you probably have to spend $3,000 or $4,000. I'm not even trying to be funny. That like all the other expenses tied to just getting that one moment with him, it's not worth it. It's insane. That's why I call it a self parody, because you can't tell me you love your fans, but you're gonna charge them this much damn money to stand next to you. Like I thought the lady charging $40 was crazy, but honestly, if I knew how bad these other people's prices were, I would have given her another $80. Let's take some more photos together. I would have said, hey, let's do some more poses. Oh, Megumi, on my last stream, you had asked me, and the reason the stream cut off is because the Wi-Fi was acting like trash, and it does that sometimes. Where just it'll abruptly cut off. But you had asked me before it ended, like, was it worth it to get the picture with the lady or to go see the lady? And I was like answering you, like in the process of answering you when the Wi-Fi just became completely unruly. Um, the short answer is yes, because out of, I guess I'll put it this way, out of any of the current, like, actresses that are just in stuff, she is by far the most accessible of the ones I like really like. Um, and she doesn't normally come to California, so it really was like a once in a blue moon opportunity to, see this person. Um, Again, the only thing I wish would have been different is that the convention itself should have stipulated that you can get a picture with these people besides the professional photographer one, because I would have almost certainly not have paid for that other one if I knew that was the case. But yeah, I would say with her it was worth it just because she normally is not in this state, and also like the, I guess, strong fondness that I have for that person. And like I said, in retrospect, I'm even more satisfied with it knowing that these other people are charging 2, 3, 4, 5 times the price of what she did. Like, that's crazy. I'm telling you, when I saw that price, I thought it was a joke. I really thought maybe, okay, are they talking about $300 for a picture with him where it's like 50 people or 40 people or some kind of like special set or something? No, if you want a picture with Mark Hamill, it is $399 for you and 2 people, $450 for you and 4 people. Oh, that is something I'd like to know. Do they charge that price for all the pictures you want together, individual pictures? So, um, they have how I put it. I'll put it like this: the professional photos cost more than the regular ones, but sometimes they're such like jerks that they won't take regular ones. Like for example, Raimi will not like at the event that he was at like this week or whatever. He would not take a regular picture with you. You have to pay him $90 or pay the I don't even know the camera crew whatever $90 to get your photo with him. The lady I was talking about at her table, there was like a little sign that said, you know, autograph 60, pictures 40, or as they call it, selfies. So I hope I answered what you were saying. That they're some of them will take the cheaper route of like, hey, just you and me together, but other ones will try to like go, no, I'm not. I'm only taking it if it's professional and with this lighting and an extra 30, 40, $50 on top of it. It's crazy. Oh, I see. That's a shame. Yeah. Like I said, if you told me I go to an event and pay $40 to get a picture with Raimi, I would do it. But not for no damn 90, especially when you have to also pay for the ticket and gas to get over there. So gas is Magumi, you probably don't know this. Gas is more expensive in this state than any other one in America. Gas over here is almost $7 a gallon. So if you want a full car of gas, it's like $60, but you're supposed to throw away 90 on taking a photo with someone that directed some movies you like. Yeah, I'll pass. There actually was somebody else up there that I wouldn't have mind getting a photo with, but he wanted 40, and I was like, well, let's see, I could pick the actress that's in like 10 or 15 movies I like, or the actor who's in one movie I like. I wonder who I'm gonna select. They are so goofy. I don't know. It sounds less organic to have these fancy cameras or effects in place, and not to wish the fan who is paying for the shoot. It's pretty scummy. It is. Like I would be completely fine just getting a regular picture. I even said the one on my phone I like more than the professional one because at least when the guy was taking it on my phone, you know, I didn't feel like we were in some big giant rush, and she actually like tried to speak to me, and you know, whereas when it's the professional one, it's literally it's almost like being a cardboard cutout. Like you stand next to me in this picture where I do the exact same pose I do with everyone else. I'm not even kidding. If I were like more like I said before, I'm not comfortable touching people I don't know. But if I was, you know, like more, what's a good way of putting it? Like outgoing in a sense, I might have, and the event wasn't like this quick rush through thing. I might have suggested a pose where maybe I think you know what a bridal carry is. It's where you like pick somebody up because um she is tiny enough for me to lift up with no issue. Um, so, but again, my actual problem is like I don't know if that would be something that she was all right with, and I also don't feel comfortable putting my hands on these people. So that's where the line kind of got crossed. But you get my point of like at least with that, it's like a more dynamic type of like oh cool sort of thing instead of just let me stand next to you while you put your arm on my shoulder and look forward like just I just wanted something more I guess dramatic in the sense of like okay you're paying for this so can we at least get something that looks like it was done professionally from both a photography standpoint and a theatrical one like hey we arranged for us to like do this when we took the picture, you know what I mean? Bridal carry I really like more meaningful. Yeah, dude. I'm not going to show the pictures, but that height difference was hilarious. She's I think 5 feet. So and I'm not going to keep saying my height because every time I say it, people go, how tall are you? But I'll put it this way: she even with heels, she still didn't come up, like barely came up to my shoulder. And that's why I said that pose would have been kind of cool because like it's like the big man lifting the little woman or whatever. No, they don't do anything, man. All the pictures are just stand next to them, stare at the camera, pretend like you're so excited and happy. It's whatever to me. What else was I gonna say? There was some other goofy thing that happened. That would be so awesome and so much more meaningful, especially if you had to pay for this shot. Why not do that? Yeah, and like they have no problem touching you. I told you when she put her arm behind my back or on my waist or whatever while we were taking the picture, I really did for a moment kind of like react sort because I think I explained the way it worked is that I gave the guy the money for the picture and I gave him my camera or I guess my phone, whatever. And I like walked over to her side of the table. She was like still either on the phone herself or signing something or whatever. And I just expected I would probably like stand next to the table and he would take the photo while she was like sitting down because I have seen some people do that. So when she got up and put her hand on me in such a manner, it like threw me off or whatever. I already told you that's why I was like I didn't have any like strong outward reaction, but I kind of like felt a sort of heart sinking thing in the moment. Trying to initiate small talk. How are you doing? Fine. I said, look, we don't know me. You don't care about me. Let's just take this photo. To hell with small talk. Not under these circumstances. So if they don't think they're getting some money out of you, they won't even spit on you. Dude, they don't. Everything is just so like by the numbers. Like, oh, you want to take a picture with me? I guess so. We'll just stand here and look at each other. And that's the part that kills me. They could do any pose they wanted. Like, I would want something where maybe both of us are like facing each other and then we have our heads turned to the side. You know what I mean? Like something, I don't know, just something with some life in it. Just that's why I said people always just feel like they don't even care. Even when they get money to do stuff, they have the same exact smile plastered on their face for 8 hours straight. They're always annoyed when people are trying to do something with them. You just get tired of it. The only way I could have tried to make a request like that is if I had gone up to her table and asked her again or but you can't just go up to them and speak to them because there was a person with her um who's like the one that fields the money and gets the cash whatever from people. So like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you would have to pay another $40 just to speak to her again for like less than 2 minutes, and then you would have to you know what I'm saying? It's just it because of how inaccessible they are. You can't even like in advance say, hey, can we pose like this or something like that, you know? Distinct and much more personality in the same standard bare bones expression they do with all the other fans. That's why my friend said when I showed him the photo, he was like, you guys are cardboard cutouts. She just stands there with her face turned on one side, like, and everyone's supposed to sit there and pretend to be so excited and happy to get this picture with this person. Like, it's crazy just how little they do. God, they're just somebody is making a distinct noise right now. I guess we can get into the self-parody. There's more of it because we're that's how these streams tend to go. It's like a variety of stuff. So I've been very clear about the fact I live in the twilight zone, right? Where if you want a job, you have to apply to 500 or 600 places per year, and even that's not enough. If you want to date a woman, you have to like ask out uh, several hundred chicks across the internet and at stores and just all over the place, right? Just this wide assortment of activities. Um, I just think it's all kind of goofy and just weird, right? Just so much effort for so little result or for almost nothing. But what drives me crazy is that we have people who don't help you in these goals, right? And they like, even while they're not helping you, not doing anything to advance this particular desire of yours, they still find a way to talk about the fatal flaw. So we've discussed before, the fatal flaw is when you have some characteristic that another person doesn't find appealing. And so they take this and they basically balloon it up to such importance as to say, you will not be successful because of this one thing. It would be like if I saw some woman who had green fingernails, like she had her fingernails painted green, and I said, hey, no man will ever want you if you have your nails painted this way, right? Hey, you know that no job will ever hire you if you have your nails painted this way, right? I would look completely insane because it's like, you're really going to tell me that one thing just stops somebody from being able to advance in their pursuit of their goals? That's crazy. But I kid you not, this is a belief that a lot of people seem to harbor or exhibit or demonstrate, and it's scary because we talk about how there's such a lack of nuance to things. There's such a lack of critical thinking when it comes to stuff. They don't really People just sort of say things without considering, like, hey, maybe this is happening because of a variety of reasons, right? We've talked about it, like, someone who doesn't get accepted by a job may not be in and of themselves some crappy, undesirable candidate, but maybe the job has several other people applying, and they just are going by random, or they're picking people who have more qualifications or more experience, etc. There's so many other factors that people ignore so they can push these narratives, so they can pretend that this one thing is just so important, so devastating, that if you don't course correct immediately, you're doomed. Now, I've never really enjoyed talking about this because it's something of a bitter memory, and it's something I've never thought made much of a difference. Um, because like I said, I don't like, for me to talk about this, I have to put myself in the mind space of the people who complain about it, which I don't enjoy doing because I think they're not a very bright or helpful group of people. But in this example, I have to talk about it. During the summit, the meeting that caused me to be back at the place I'm staying in currently, the relative who intervened, or I guess was the mediator, middleman, whatever you want to call him, they said to me as I was talking about how hard it was to get a job, maybe if you got a haircut. And I looked at them and I said, huh? Because basically for the uninitiated, there's a small group of, it's not that big, it's always the same pissant couple of them, but there's a small group of relatives who have always had an obsession with my hair. Um, and what I mean by that is, if you are basically any length that is not bald, they will complain about the length of it. Um, and I've said before, a lot of African Americans in the modern era practice self hatred in the sense of like, I know for a fact if I was in a Hispanic family, if I was in a white family, if I was in an Asian family, no one would look at anything this length and call that long. But because these people have a homogenized existence where everyone has to be the same and do the same thing and act the same and like the same things, if you have any level of variety from these individuals, they will shame you for it. They will try to pretend as if it is this crippling thing for you. They will overinflate its importance. Um, and it's very obnoxious. I mean, I tell this person about applying for going to 4 interviews in 5 days, and they say to me, well, maybe you might have to get a haircut to get through the door at some of these places. And I said to them, because again, this goes back to my thing of how people don't think when they say things. If I'm applying on a website where there's no picture of me, and the majority of these employers won't even set up an interview, let alone meet with you in person and now determine they don't like the way you look, do you not understand where that is them taking something and trying to pretend it's got a bigger impact than it does? Because whether you agree with my style of hair, it's all goofy, but whether you liked it or not, most of these employers never even see what I look like. They don't. Not on any of the sites I use. There's no pictures of me, so you'd have to make the decision of, okay, let's meet in person to even come to that conclusion. And if also, I was going to say, I know it's total bogus that the hair is like this big determining factor, because I had the exact same length when I got hired by the other 2 places I worked for. So again, they're taking something that really is not that big of a deal and inflating, like overinflating its importance for the sake of creating of a fatal flaw of, oh, you if you just had this, I call it the magic cut, suddenly everything would be so much better. I talked about going to a job interview last year. It was for a nursing home, and I showed up on time. I was early, and it took the people working there 40 minutes to sit me down and actually start speaking to me. I was getting ready to leave. I was so irritated by just how unprofessional it is to tell someone to come at a certain time and then not actually be there, be ready to talk to them when they come at that certain time. So after I came there, and I didn't get the job, and I wasn't surprised, because I mean, that's the nature of this stuff. I'm never shocked if I don't get hired somewhere. It's whatever. It's, we're at a disadvantage always. But I told this person about what happened up there, and they said, oh, well, why didn't you get that job? Maybe it was because you didn't have a haircut. And I'm like, so you're gonna get more upset with me over my hair than the fact that the place that I applied to wasted my time for over an hour on an interview that I showed up early to, that they were late to, even though it was at their own headquarters. But somehow that's my fault. That, like, I'm the one who should feel bad in that scenario. Yes, as you say, a very clear case of oversimplification. So now, Megumi, I want you to understand, when they say this stuff, they're trying to make it seem, because what do I keep saying? My relatives do not care about me. They don't give a damn. It's all just theatrics, right? When I want you to consider this. Imagine I'm your mother or your dad or your uncle or your aunt, and I go up to you and I say, Megumi, you need to eat vegetables. And then you turn around to me, you don't say this to me, but you're thinking to yourself, okay, bastard, if you really want to talk about what kind of stuff I eat, why don't you give me the money to get this food or buy the food for me? But see, this goes back to my thing of how the relatives are a self-parody, because it's one thing to give advice of what you think someone should do. It's another thing to never do anything to actually forward that belief system. Um, so when you have a man who is upset that his son doesn't have a job, or you have a mother who is upset that her son doesn't have a job, or you have a cousin who's upset that their other cousin doesn't have a job, but then none of them can ever sit down with that person and fill out some applications, create a resume, whatever. Do you see where it's a self-parody? Because they're telling you something of what they'd like to see you improve in, but they can't lift a finger to assist you with it. And actually, Megumi, I want to flash you back to 5 years ago. I got into a university that was out of state. I wanted to go to an out of state university because the school I was going to had a thing where they wouldn't transfer your credits unless you fulfilled a certain number of obligations, took certain courses to schools that were in state. So an out of state one would be exempt from that. So I got into this university and they wanted 30,000 for me to go there. Now, with grants, I was able to cut the price down in more than half. It ended up being 12,000. I had three relatives who, between the three of them, right? They all said the same thing. You need to go to college. Going to college is so important, blah, 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 right? And the other thing they had in common is that these three relatives had all been working for a collective total of 90 years. So these aren't people who just started working last year, you know. In fact, actually, one of them that year wasn't paying rent at all. They were staying with somebody that was taking care of them. So I say to these three relatives, hey, can you guys help me with paying for college? Oh, it's too expensive. Now, of course, I would never go up to one person demanding 12,000, but I don't believe that between the three of them, including the one that wasn't paying any rent, that they didn't have 4,000. I don't believe that. So one of the things I said when this happened was, oh, they were talking about, oh, it's 12,000. I said it could have been $12 and they still wouldn't have paid for it. Because that's just how insane this has gotten, where people sit there and they tell you need something, but then they can't like put the money where their mouth is, right? They talk up something as a utility, but then they can't do anything to assist you with performing. Because it, like I said before, it will never not upset me that I spent 2 years in college breaking my behind to study for courses and graduate and not graduate, but pass classes, just to be told, oh, the school you want to go to or the school that lets you in, yeah, too much. So Um, also, I just want to say that a lot of in-state schools, like there's a lot like the UCs, Cal States, whatever, they roughly are about 3,000, 4,000, some singular several thousands, right? So I guess what I'm getting conveying to you is the amount that they were going to pay is only like slightly more than something out here. It's like if they all work together. But of course, they're not organized, they don't do anything collaborative. All they do is sit around and run their mouths. Um, so this year, as I've stated before, I've had to pay for my own food. I've had to pay for anytime I need gas, just all the car related stuff, right? And usually for food for me for a week is about $50, give or take. Sometimes there's drinks included, other stuff that runs up, whatever. But I said it's so crazy to me that in having these multiple relatives, the ones that say, oh, they love you, they can't spend 1 cent on getting you something to eat each week. How does that work? Oh, this person I love. They need food. Oh, well, gonna have to get it from somewhere else. And also, I should say this. One of them tried to pass the sob story. Oh, I can't afford it, right? $50 a week is just too much for me. Same person that said 4,000 was too much for them, right? Here's the problem. They could go up to the other person because they've been close to this person before. And they could say to them, hey, look, he needs help. I can pitch in a little bit. You can pitch in a little bit. I'll give him 25. You give him 25. And then there you go. Do you really want me to believe that a person who when they were working every week could not afford to give someone 25 each week so they could eat? That really that's what I'm supposed to believe? But again, this goes back to my point of how when you have people who will not pay for you to eat, when you have people who will not pay for you to go to school, when you have people who won't pay for anything related to your car, which is the main means of transportation to get to a job, whatever. When you have people who say they want you to get a job, but they never assist you with getting one, do you see where these people become joke versions of themselves? Their actions are not indicative of someone who claims to care about their fellow family members. All they are doing is constantly complaining. That's why I said the only thing these relatives are good for is running their mouths. And I also wanted to say that when I made the like explicit point of this person doesn't care about me, they went, "Oh, I love you. I pay for where you live." And I said, "No, no, 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 no. You do that so you can have somewhere to stay." That was what I said to the one of the other ones, and it was true because after I left from over there, they're still paying for it. Not because they're hoping I come back, right? Because they changed the locks. Like, no, that was always something you did for yourself, and I was a holdover from when someone else that actually cared about me was around. That's it. In the case of the other one, they were talking about, oh, they got this place so I could have somewhere to stay. I said, no, no, no. You were complaining that you were living with someone else and how difficult it was to find somewhere to live. And then this other person swooped in and like gave you a deal or gave you like an option. Well, Megumi, do you see where you can't say that you care about someone and provide them with not a single utility? Oh, I'm upset that Megumi doesn't have a job. Okay, are you gonna sit with Megumi down and like fill out applications with him, make him a resume? Nope. Dude, I'm telling you, that hair thing is so funny because it's like that they truly believe your entire life will change if you have the magic cut. Like if I like for example, if I never meet a woman who likes me back, whatever, even though I have met ones who claim that, but we already talked before about like the nuances that are just not a thing to them. But like if I never meet a woman, it's because I didn't have the magic cut. And if I don't get hired by somewhere, it's because I didn't have the magic cut. And if I run for office but lose, it won't be because my opponent had more money than me. People didn't know who I was. Some people don't want to vote for someone who doesn't have a degree, for example. If I just had the magic cut, everything would be so much better. I'm telling you, man, it is sad. Like I'm not even kidding. Sometimes I almost think these adults are like kids trapped in adults' bodies because it's like, but their lack of logic is so absurd. Because we talked about external factors, right? Sometimes you apply for a job, there's dozens of other people applying for it. Sometimes you talk to a woman, there's dozens of other people talking to her, and it's like you're really going to sit here and tell me that you believe someone's entire life will radically get a different result if they just have this magic hairstyle? Can't help but just laugh at their logic and reasoning. How can they really say and believe this? Trust me, man, they believe it. I mean, I became an adult years ago, right? And I still have them to this day. Uh, are you gonna maybe you can get a haircut? You know, one of them actually offered me $100 to get, they call it a lineup or some other. They try to like pretend it's not the same thing, but I said, wow, $100, never had that before. I'm serious. These people are obsessed with my hair. Like I'm not even trying to be funny or hyperbolic. The amount of attention that they have put into this stupid thing that does not matter. You know, it's funny like a little bit, but when you really break down this year and how little they do to actually support me, it just shows you that like the Twilight Zone is in full effect. Like the same bastards that will sit here crying about how long someone's hair is, which by the way, remember I told you about women having all those different clothing options. It's the same thing with hair. I don't see any woman being told or you won't get a job because your hair is too short or it's too long or it's nothing. But I just thought it was funny how like they really expect to be taken seriously saying stuff like this. Not a single one of these bastards pays for me to eat. Not a single one of these bastards assists me with getting a job. Not a single one of these bastards pays for any expense related to this car. They don't do anything except this. But you're supposed to care if they don't like your hair. I don't like your skills as a person who claims to love me. I think those need to be cut down the size. I think that needs to be addressed long before we start crying about any cosmetic crap. By the way, I didn't even get to tell you about the woman whose son was like flunking classes to where she could barely get him into another school. But then she's gonna start talking about a few months before that. When me and my baby leave the house, we're fly. Imagine having a child that is doing like so poorly in school to where you have to like beg for somewhere else to take him, and then you're bragging about what kind of clothes you and him have on. Like, how does that work? That's why I said these people have the most backwards priorities I've ever seen. Like, yes, it is a self-parody. That's why I named the stream this. I'm so concerned about the well-being of my child that I'm going to make sure he has all of these amazingly variety type clothes and shoes and whatever. But oh, he's failing classes and not able to pass anything or whatever, and I got to beg for him to go to another school. That's okay. Like, what a joke. Because let me tell you something. If I had a son or a daughter and they were failing classes, every weekend we would be studying. You wouldn't see us leave the house without having some books open. And as far as any of that fashion stuff is concerned, I don't care if they only ever wore pajamas. I mean, like it's incredible to me how much time can be invested in the most minute, irrelevant. You know, like this person actually made fun of me at one point. I'm going to tell you this. I have different shirts I'll put on for each day of the week so that I don't have to sit there wondering what I'm going to wear. And sometimes I'll pick something else, but like for the most part, I have a good idea of like I'll wear this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And the reason for that is very simple. I'm a person who's worried about getting a job, who's worried about whether they're going to be able to pay things. I don't have time to sit here and get caught up in the minutia of what types of clothes I'm wearing and what I don't have on or have on. It doesn't matter to me. And if you want to insult me for that, go ahead. It's a non-concern. It's not a big deal. When I'm running errands during the day, I don't care if oh, this is the same shirt I wore last Saturday. Like, who cares? It's their priorities. They see they seem to prioritize very minor and trivial stuff. They absolutely do. Totally understandable, dude. I get it. Told you if things come down to it, I'll buy like two shirts a year and have like five or six pairs of pants, and that'll be and those shirts added to like the other seven or eight in rotation. That'll be my whole wardrobe. I don't I don't care about clothes because they don't matter. Focus on getting a damn job, being able to take care of yourself. Then you can worry about I mean, like, of course, the event I went to is like one thing. They do that once a year or once every several years, whatever. But like in general, I don't sit around going, do I have this outfit? Do I have this new pair of shoes? Dude, I have like two pairs of shoes I wear. I've also been told by one of my siblings, why am I wearing the same pants I wore the day before when I am just going out to do an errand? Well, that's my point. Why do you have to have some specific outfit just to do this mundane, minute stuff? Like going and picking up groceries, or I mean, even if you go to a job interview, it's like, I'm not going to show up in a suit and tie to work at a burger joint. Like, are you out of your mind? And also, what I want to ask you this, Megumi, if you were an employer and somebody came up to you and they were wearing a suit and tie, or some other like some really expensive shoes, whatever, doesn't that kind of make it seem like they don't really need this job if they're able to go out and buy all this stuff to look glamorous or whatever? Like, you get where that conflicts with someone who's actually struggling. It is weird and unnecessary to harp on. Hey, job, I really need you. Oh, why do you have those new shoes on? Oh, I really need you. Why do you have that suit and tie on? I really need you. I'm telling you, man, these people, they have no logic. They just say whatever. Like, man, I'm telling you, if I had a son or a daughter and they weren't doing good in school, the last thing on my mind would be, do they have 7 different pairs of shoes? Do they have 50 different t-shirts? You think I'm kidding, man? If I found out my kid was failing or not doing good in school, it would, all that other stuff would go out the window. Like, that's why I said, I can't imagine being a parent. And like I said before, there's some subjects you just don't understand, right? Like, I've always had trouble with math, but a lot of the stuff when it comes to reading, science, etc., you can go over your kid with that. It's literally, you read something in a book and you remember what was there, and you ask the person questions about it. You have them write out stuff. Like, that's why I said, I really, I'll put it to you like this. Every year I find more and more proof that there is something wrong with the fact that anyone can have kids. And it has nothing to do with ethnicity, it has nothing to do with age, it has to do with, do people actually have the temperament to treat their children's future like it matters? Yes, spend time with your child and teach them. Dude, imagine having a parent where the only time, like, they're so dumb, you can just say, I don't have homework, and then they'll believe you. And the only time they'll get like push back on it at all is if they get told by a teacher that you're missing work, or they see your report card and there's like bad grades on it. That's the only time they will aggressively, pursue you when it comes to education. The rest of the year, they don't care. You could spend every day of the week staring at your phone and computer and all the other and games or whatever, and they will go right along with it. It is so sad, man. Because it's like, if the parent was just a little assertive, it would go a long way. If they spent a little bit of time studying with their kid, it would go a long way. But you know what it is? A lot of parents, when their kid first starts in school, just my opinion, I don't have any proof or statistics, what I believe. A lot of parents get used to the idea of like, okay, my kid's smart, they can pass stuff. Oh, kindergarten, yeah, it's easy. First grade easy, second grade easy, third grade easy. So they get complacent with never actually having to study with their child and make sure the kid knows what they're doing. And then when they get to these higher grades, the ones approaching college, right? Like 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, then suddenly they're not able to come to terms with the fact that now your kid really needs to take their education seriously, or they're screwed. They don't, like, it's almost as if it just creeps on them. in Dragon Ball they have the power creep where like a character, all the characters are like around the same level of strength, and Goku just gets so powerful, he just surpasses her. That's what it is with school, where like there's a power, there's like a education, there's like there's a difficulty creep, I should say. First couple of grades, not that hard, whatever. Fourth, fifth, sixth, start getting the algebra and other advanced stuff. Seventh, eighth, like the junior high stuff, early high school starts ballooning, and they're not able to adapt to it, unfortunately. Yes, difficulty spike can really throw a lot of parents off. It does. And I was saying that the smarter parents are the ones where they already were like teaching their kids stuff back when they were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So when the kid has harder stuff starting at 12, 13, 14, 15, it doesn't bother them because they've already, gone over stuff with the kid. They're used to it. It's become ingrained in them to just study with their child. That's why I said if I'm ever able to get my own living situation in a decent spot where I don't have to worry about, living paycheck to paycheck and other crazy stuff, I really would consider adopting, just to see what the difference in the results will be, um of a child that I raise versus one that these natural born parents have. Like that is something I would consider doing, because I really I just think that there's so much time in a week that even if you have a job, there's still no excuse to where you couldn't at least during the weekend study with your kid. That's just my opinion. You can disagree with me, but I just think they don't care, and the fact that they don't care really does end up hurting their child, because when the child doesn't feel like there's someone that is going to reprimand them for not trying, or someone who's like actually concerned about this, they get complacent. Like the lack of concern of the parent transfers to the kid. Oh, by the way, I got permission to speak about this. So I feel like, and maybe you can disagree, maybe you'll say something differently, but I guess if I were in my 50s and I had been married, I'm not married anymore, but like I'd been married, I have kids. I'm not going to be so dazzled by the sight of a backside, okay? So like for example, let's say Megumi, you and I already know the deal, right? Sometimes you see a woman in real life, you can't help but look. She's pretty, whatever. It is what it is, right? But imagine you're at your job and you see a woman and she bends over in front of you. And maybe you do look, hey, nice side, whatever. Just I couldn't help myself. Um, but you make the mistake, the really stupid mistake of pulling out your camera and taking a picture of that backside while you're being recorded by your job. And so when your job sees that you tried to take a picture of a backside, they're like, hey man, get out of here. And you try to say, hey, I made a mistake, whatever. Or actually, first you try to say, I didn't do it, but they have you recorded doing it. So that excuse doesn't really hold up. But it's like, could you imagine being like in your 50s and again, you've had kids, you've been married, you have a comfortable enough life to where you're able to go out and get a car and you've got $100,000, whatever. You're not living paycheck to paycheck. You are considerably well off, and you decide to destroy your means of income because you were too dumb to not take a picture of someone's backside when they bent over in front of you. And remember, You've been married. You have had kids. So you know what uh, 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 the back of a woman looks like. You're not someone who's never seen it before. Man, when I heard this thing, I almost fell on the floor laughing. Let me tell you something. If I end up being 50, and like again, it's one thing to look, right? It's another to try and take a picture of it. Cause like you know what I mean? Like you can just kind of see things. And as long as you don't do anything overt, no one's gonna notice, right? Like, for example, as I'm sitting here, just kind of like looking at the different people up here, that's one thing. But if I decide to go and pull out my phone and start taking pictures of everyone up here, that's something else. Well, he was married in past tense. But my point I was making was he's someone who's had multiple romantic partners, including dating someone now. And it's like, you got that dazzled by seeing a backside at work. Dude, let me tell you something. Like, I'm not gonna say I've always been this like brilliant mastermind genius employee, but I would never be stupid enough to try and take a picture of some woman I was working with, like whether she's bending over or not, because I always am like, okay, where's the cameras? The only time I ever got caught because of cameras was when I was at this one place, and it really was my first job. They saw me like talking to this guy, that one of the other employees, like just speaking to him. But that still didn't end up getting me fired. And that still wasn't about like, oh, you're making somebody uncomfortable. It's literally just they were staring at the cameras, had nothing better to do, and were like, oh, we saw you looking at. It was worth losing their job over, I guess. Dude, imagine working somewhere for 27 years, like almost 30 years, and you get fired over that. Oh my god. God, man. Oh my, I'm still just like they ain't seen a woman's backside before or something. Well, that's my thing. If it was some really young guy who's never worked anywhere before, never had a girlfriend, I get it, sort of. It still is nasty, and you know, you get what you gave. But like, just to be that old and to do something that dumb, I just can't make it make sense. Like that's really dumb. Man, I oh by the way, I saw that his not that big of a deal to warrant taking a picture of. It's not. Especially see if he was smart, he would have asked the camera guy to play back the footage. To, like went to the guy who runs the footage, be like, all right, can you guys send me a copy of that video in my email? See, at least if he did that, they'd have no recording of him saying it, and they would. And it's even funnier when you remember that like he also was like dating some other woman, so it's not like he's starved of female attention. And I saw the message that the woman wrote for him, and for some reason, a lot of I don't know why people do this. They write in cap locks, like how do I explain it? Not like all the way through, but like every word is capitalized. I think it's really weird. 27 years down the drain over a booty. Dude, even Butt Muncher 45 was like, that was dumb. Even he was like, okay, you know what? That was not a wise decision. God, even he sat back and said, I think you might have overstepped your reach there, pal. No, I gotta tell you, this has been one of the wackiest mornings I've had, at least certainly out of any of the Saturdays. Like I drove to 5 different Starbucks, and this is the only one where the Wi-Fi works. So I'm just gonna go to this one from now on. It's close by the other destination I usually go to, and I guess I'll just use this one. Also, you weren't here at the beginning, Megumi, but I was talking about how at the main Starbucks I used to use, the one that where like their internet isn't working right now or for whatever reason. Um, I every time I would go up there, so like when I started doing those Saturday, was it the Saturday sunrise service, where it's like 6 in the morning? The reason for that is because a lot of times when I would go up there would be nowhere to park or only like one spot, and it's somewhere that's not comfortable. You know what I mean? Like you have to squeeze in somewhere. And I kid you not, when I went up there today, I noticed that there was a whole row of cars parked and all the windows were tinted. And I said, oh, I get why these spots are always taken because people are living in there. So like they park their car here, their car that they sleep in, because they know there's no like time limit on how long your car can be there. And then they go and run their errands by foot or work, or maybe they walk to their job or some other thing, and then they come and then they come back and get in the car and go to bed. But that's when it like dawned on me, like, oh, that's why the windows are like that. Okay. The whole row windows were tinted. You'd sooner be able to stare at the sun than see whatever's in that car. But I had my revelation today. I said, oh, that's why. Someone has a nice dress on. It's a little green color with some flowers on it. Nice little dirty blonde type cotton hair. No, that was when I had my epiphany. I said, why are all of these cars parked here for hours on end, and all the windows are tinted? Oh, they're homeless. This is their spot. Oh, damn! Oops. Because I told you before, I would never, especially after this year. Well, not even before that, make fun of someone for you know not being on the up and up when it comes to finances. But it's just I was just surprised that it was like a whole row of tinted windows. Like I'm not even kidding. You couldn't even you they make that stuff as dark as I don't know how anybody drives a car with windows that dark. I'd be too afraid. I suppose that would make sense due to the cars being in a row like that. And also it's a really good place to park because if you're doing the encampment thing, because there's a lot of cars that go in and out, like where that spot where those cars are parked. So it gives off the appearance of like there's a lot of activity around here. Like somebody would be kind of nervous to try breaking in or doing whatever when they know that there's people in that area. They're just coming in and out. I also didn't think you could be comfortable enough to actually sleep in your car, like lay down. Well, some people, I mean, look, mine's no, but some people will I mean, hey, they have those vans where they have the back part with the mattress in there, or some of them will put the whole like back of the seat down and just kind of lay that way. I'm the kind of person where I almost always have to lay on my stomach to go to sleep, so it's kind of It's a lot more difficult. Mm. No, I couldn't do it. Like they can sit in those spots as long as they like. I just always wondered like why do I see so few people here? Not like so few people, but it's like I always notice that whole row is taken up. Like in all the months of me streaming, I can only remember like two instances where I streamed and I was parked in that backlot area. During one of the streams that was at 6 in the morning where they left, and then another one where it was like there's another one I'm forgetting what the title of it was, but it's very rare for that area to not have cars pressed up against it is what I'm getting at. Very, very rare. I'm not even joking. I'm so satisfied with this internet. I might actually buy something from here that just as like a thank you. Like, goddamn, you have to drive around the world just to do a stream. I'm glad on Monday I'll be able to do it from the house because this was nuts. Like a whole hour just here, there, here. Oh, this doesn't work. This does work. This doesn't work. This does work. It was bad. Let's hope their prices aren't that absurd and oh dear the gas. Well, you know what? The places I went to were all within a range of 5 miles, 2 miles, so it wasn't that bad. It's more the aggravation of like, okay, I'm here now. I can stream. Oh no, I can't. Okay, I got to go to another one or whatever. No, the worst thing for my gas was when I went to what where was it? Was it Palmera somewhere? Anyways, I went to another city, and it was 60 miles to get to and from there for an interview. And I'm not kidding. Never heard anything back from them after going all that way out there for them. That was absolutely insane. Just like I was very upset by the job interview on Monday and how they gave me that rejection notice on Thursday to where I just felt so drained. I was like, man, I'm sick of this. I just went to an interview yesterday. I spoke to these jerks 3 days ago. Like, I just couldn't. I really almost. I don't have days where I just can't do anything, but I felt like that on that day. I even canceled going over to one of my relatives' houses. I usually go over their house on Tuesday and Thursday. I said, hey, not today, man. It's just too frustrating. And the same stupid relative. Did you get a job? 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 It's like, shut up. Did you get a job? So annoying. Imagine ear hustling on someone's conversation with an employer, and then like right after you hang up, they hang up with the employer. You ask, "Did you get a job?" I still think those delivery driver interviews were funny. Where like the first one last Monday, they gave me a vest to let me keep it, and then the interview for the guy, the place I went to, the same company on Monday, they take back the vest. I'm like, why do I need a vest for an interview? Again, you put up with that stuff, and it's always for nothing. I'm not kidding, man. The employers this year have turned into a repeat of the ones from 2019. They won't give you a shot at all. My relatives are pretty weird and strange, but yours is absolutely absurdly obnoxious. Oh yeah, man. I haven't even mentioned the thing that the other one is doing. Mm. I'm waiting for that to finish being in effect. But I was going to tell you something, and that I'd never actually mentioned this. So I found out about a month or two after I left from over there that the spin artist owns half of the house I used to stay in. So I just want you to understand this actually retroactively makes him even worse, because I thought at the time, oh, maybe like this other person, you know, he kept saying, you know, she's the boss. It's like, so wait a second. You had the power to stop her if you wanted to from kicking out this person that you claim to love, and you didn't use that power. You just doubled down on her nonsense. You get where that's crazy? Like he actually does have the ability to say, you're not going to kick him out over locking the door, but he won't do it, or wouldn't do it rather. What a lovely group. Mm. Why didn't they do it? Because they don't care. I mean, everything is based around. I'll put it to you like this: if he was staying there and that bimbo told him, "Do you want to have a place to live when you come back?" because he locked his door while somebody was trying to clean or whatever, he would curse that person out. He would, I mean, you know, go complete, you know, just anger, right? But then if you resist, it's like the end of the world. Remember, I told you about how like rules for thee, but not for me, you know? So that's what I'm saying about how these people, it's the same reason why they won't pay for me to eat. They won't pay for, you know, any kind of gas or any other expense, because the only persons that they think about are themselves. And not themselves like themselves as a family unit, no, individually themselves. Like he'll complain about me not being employed, but he doesn't help me to find a job because he's not the one who's worried about if they're going to be able to take care of themselves next week or next month or, you know, anything like that. That's a really horrible thing to say to someone that's related to you, someone that loves you. Tell you, man, love is. If I never hear that word again in any kind of like affectionate context, I will be too soon. But yeah, the only person they're thinking of is themselves. Only person he's thinking of is himself. The only person that other idiot's thinking about is herself. Only person, the one that the robber in broad daylight is thinking about is herself. That's all. That's all they're concerned with. It's just me, 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 me. And like I said, man, you don't get to lecture somebody about some damn hair, but then you can't spend 1 cent on them eating ever, or on helping them to get a job, or on help. I mean, we already gave up on the school thing, but it's like nothing but this. That'd be funny if we have a new thing where like every time I say, Magumi, I gotta tell you a story, you're like, oh, who's it about? And then you already know from when you see this who I'm. Same applies to online too, unfortunately. Well, yeah, but like my thing on the internet, and I made this point before, it's like on the computer, I expect people to be non-concerned with me. I expect people to just not care, right? But it's like when you're talking about real life, not random strangers, people like strangers have the luxury of like they don't know who you are. So of course they're not supposed to be anywhere near as attached to you as your own damn family. Again, they're not supposed to be, but sometimes they are. Like again, they have an excuse that's built in. This is something that doesn't make any sense. Like, how do you love someone and you do nothing for them but run your mouth? I am very concerned about Megumi's future. This is why he needs a haircut and he needs to wear different types of clothes. Oh, Megumi doesn't have a job and he needs help with doing that. Oh, Megumi needs something to eat. Oh, Megumi needs money to go to school. Oh, Megumi needs money to pay for his gas so he can go to this job I've been telling him to get. So useful, so helpful. My favorite thing is like them teaming up. I love how I'll never forget that stream I did where Jem was like, "Where are your parents? Why aren't you with them?" And I was like, "Man, if you believe that just because someone's parents are alive, they're going to be off, or you can go to them for help, I have a bridge to sell you." That was one of my favorite lines from him. And I'm not saying that to insult him. It's just like we talk so much about family just not being good. So it's like don't convince yourself that just because someone's your mom or your dad, they give a hoot about you. Dude, all they do is think about themselves. Trust me, Megumi, if I revealed to you my exact relationships with these people, you would be shocked. You would say, that person who that's his what? Trust me, if I started going, okay, that's this specific type relative, that's why I use that pejorative, because it's like I don't want to get more specific with these people, at least until I am financially astute, whether that's in a year, 3 years, 5 years, whatever. I don't want to ever get to a point where I expose these people and then also have to like rely on them for something. That's not an ideal situation. But no, the only person they're thinking about is themselves. It's not about lacking money because, like I said, they can go and buy all this other stuff. Um, it's just they don't care. And especially since if they have an experienced parents not being there for them themselves, yeah. Like I said, man, some people just they don't care if you're their son, their daughter, their brother, their sister. They will throw you away and treat you like trash before you can even shake your head. You're like, really? Wow. Okay. They just do not care. I asked one person, sent me a text message asking if I forgot about him. I said, I mean, hey, you never called me. As I said, everything is just so one sided. Like people will really sit there for 2, 3, 4 months and try to say you forgot them and they never called you themselves. So these are some of the most passive protagonists I've ever seen. Like I'm assertive in the sense that like, oh, you want to go on a date with a woman, got to go approach a woman. Oh, you want to get a job, got to go and fill applications. Oh, you want to do a show, got to write scripts. Like some people just really exist to be like, this person has not called me. This person has not contacted me. This person has not reached out to me. It's like, yeah, you can reach out to them for once. Like, damn. That's why I said everything is just so one sided. Let me also say this. So I did leave one more message for the one that's going to be in that decline video, and of course, shock, she didn't respond. But I was thinking about it, and I said, what's crazy is that you can get like we were talking about like celebrities ignore people that come on their page or whatever. You can actually get more attention from a celebrity, provided you pay a price, than from a random broad nobody ever heard of. Like I'm not even kidding. I can think of a couple of actors where if you pay them a certain amount a month, they'll watch a movie with you. Um, Like, but with these chicks, they will come. They act like you don't even exist, and it's nuts to me, man. I'm serious. Like, I can think of at least 10 accredited actors with like with film credits, right? Who, if you pay them a certain amount, they will invite you to a Zoom call, conference call, whatever, and you can sit there and either talk to them or watch a movie with them or do something with them. That's the thing how crazy this is. I can pay an actor, like someone who's actually worth something, right? To spend time with me, but I can't get a regular broad nobody ever heard of to even respond to one message after 2 months of nothing. You know, if I wasn't being charged 300 a month, I actually would take up one of them on that offer because they have they have like other stuff they offer too. And I was kind of like, you know what I'm saying? When like somebody says something and it kind of has you curious, like, what is this? You know, what all does this entail? So if I wasn't getting charged 300 a month, I probably would give them the amount to see what types of stuff like services they offer. Yeah, but I'm just telling you, it's really disturbing to think about how you can get the attention of a famous person for a price, but you can't get the attention of a regular broad nobody ever heard of for free. Even one that used to pay attention that just decided to abruptly, throw you away. That's insane. No, when I signed up for this one person's thing, they asked me for my mailing address, because I guess they send everyone that supports them like a thank you message or thank you letter or whatever. And I was like, that's nice. Wow, I wasn't expecting to receive anything. Only time I ever got a email letter from anywhere that wasn't a bill or whatever was probably when I donated to one of those presidential libraries. I'm just saying, like, it's sad that you can realistically have more of a relationship with a famous person that you never even speak to one on one than some random woman that used to talk to you for hours on end. I'm telling you, man, it's the twilight zone. Just nuts. Oh yeah, there was something I was going to tell you about what my friend wanted to do with me. Yeah, this already sounds scary. I'm already nervous. Just the way that was worded, like, oh no. Oh man, it's crazy how cold it is in the morning and how warm it gets in just a span of a few hours. That's really impressive. I'm trying to think, what do I need from the market? Some ketchup, um, maybe some fries, and I'll probably get a TV dinner too. Because I still some soup. Yeah, I'm almost out of those. Can't forget the soup. He was asking me to come with him to this convention, which honestly I would like to attend with him, but I asked him if he was bringing his partner with him, and they answered yes, most likely. Oh, the third wheel thing, right? So because of that, he messaged me in the morning about wanting to go, but I just told him no. Yeah, three is a crowd, especially when two parts of it are doing each other. It's not going to be the same. And yes, it's the third wheel nonsense thing. Yeah, telling you, sometimes when people start dating someone, it's like you can't do anything where it's just you and them together anymore. Like I had a cousin I used to do all types of stuff with, hang out with, whatever. And after she got a boyfriend, I couldn't go anywhere with her without the guy tagging along or her being with. And I got sick of it. I said, forget it. Well, that and the fact that she would never pick up when I called her, but I digress. Dude, sometimes these people and their partners turn into Sonic and Tails, or they're just everywhere together. Can't really talk to him properly anymore because he's going to be with his partner constantly. Yeah, it's like their whole life revolves around this person. And guess what? I know for a fact that when that actress has her little like Zoom call thing, her husband's not on there. You and the other people that are paying to speak to her, you get to talk to her. So yeah, people may call me names or make fun of me, but I don't care. I can't do it. I don't blame you. No, she said that she mails people something every 3 months that continue to support her at the highest amount. I was like, man, I wonder what that is. Because you get sent like free stuff that's in appreciation of your support, like your financial support. I was like, wow, I want to see what this is. But no, I don't like the third wheel thing either. And that's why I said people and their partners just get too obnoxious. Like they never are by themselves anymore. That's why I said I just couldn't imagine being with a woman and like suddenly you and this person are going everywhere. Cause you know what I mean? Like you spend so much time and years alone, like just by yourself. So the idea of meeting someone, let alone someone that you actually do things with and hang out with, just seems so foreign. Like, yeah, right. That kind of thing. You just almost can't even imagine it. Like, oh, me and this person are actually gonna do things together and supposedly spend time with each other. Well, I mean, you just like you get used to things being a certain type of way. So if they're not the same anymore, you react to it. You're like, wait a second, this is really happening. This isn't another cruel joke. I said, wow, I can't believe it. Also, he is a person that doesn't really message me often and only messages me when there is an event or convention coming up. See, I hate stuff like that. Just because that to me sounds like you're his friend only or someone he likes to talk to only in this specific occasion. I message people sometimes, say how you doing, are you all right, etc. I don't just go, did you want to go to this convention with me? Then 2 months later, want to go to this convention with me? Then another 2 months later, want to go to this convention with me? And we've been friends for over a decade, similar to your best friend. Well, I think that's different because he and I actually will do stuff together outside of like some like one specific type of occasion. But if you've known this person for that long, I guess you've reconciled with the fact that they do this. So people just they'll never amaze me in how hard it is for them to even say something to you. You know, I love this person so much. Oh, when's the last time you called them? About 10 months ago. Love this person so much. When's the last time you spoke to him? About a year ago. I actually did consider that if something ends up happening to me, again, whether I end up, you know, dying in some mass shooting that's going to happen over here because we have daily mass shootings, like I told you before, or maybe like a freak car accident or some kind of like fatality. I was thinking I was going to like probably end up having some kind of like written work that my friend could then distribute, posthumously for me, that kind of like goes over what all this group of people did this year, just so that they can't get away with like, oh, this person is now deceased, so all the stuff we did to him doesn't matter anymore. No, it does. Yeah, pretty much. I don't take it too hard. God, I was just thinking how funny it would be to like have what's a good way of putting it? Um, do you think they'd notice if something were to happen to you in this hypothetical? Only by virtue of the fact that there's been like legal stuff that would be the immediate thing their minds would jump to, like, yes, I don't have to worry about a lawyer or whatever. But as far as oh man, really that happened? No, they wouldn't care. They would find out from someone else, but as far as like, hey, damn, I didn't talk to him during all those months where he was struggling and trying to get hired somewhere and getting charged 300 a month just to sit in some ant infested room. No, they would not give a damn, other than what my passing could do for them, because that's all they think about is themselves. See if I left them in my will. That's gonna be the only thing that they're kind of curious or wondering about. It's like, okay, yeah, he passed. You know what the cause of death was? I don't care. Am I in the will? Oh, like I said, man, it's been a very difficult year. And I know the reason why. I've already explained it. It'll never not be fascinating to me that if one person is out of your life, everything can just start staggering and falling. Mm. Well, like I said, it was always supposed to be a temporary thing, and then this other person got in the way of it, ending when it was supposed to, which was like during the summer. Um, so it's just been dragged out to the point of like financial exhaustion. Unyielding misery. No stream has ever had a more appropriate title. But the job situation is even more crazy. I think that because those employers aren't actually hiring. Yeah, they put those signs up to meet the quota, make it look like people are trying to work for them, and then after, well, I already told you, like if you're looking at that Blackstone Gaming thing, for example, or any of these other like casino companies, all they do is get people to show up for interviews, pay for parking, waste your time for 10 minutes with some nonsense that's not going to go anywhere, and then get you to like get some cut out of the parking fees that were paid by you and other people. That's my theory. I have no proof. I just that's what it seems to be to me because they were really adamant. Park over here. Park over here. I'm saying, man, these relatives lie so much. Like you would think it was second nature for them. As in, they like when they wake up out of bed, they tell them like they could have this gnawing headache, and they're like, "I feel great today." Just complete psychopathy. Like you don't even you don't know what's real anymore. I'll help you get a job 1 year later. I never said that. It's really insane. I'll tell you, man. People online are like, everyone always says you have a fatal flaw. So Megumi, if you don't end up with a woman, it's because you wore a headscarf. I'm gonna pick that as your fatal flaw because no man has ever gotten a woman while wearing a headscarf ever. You'll be the first one in world history to get one. Dude, I know the haircut thing doesn't matter when it comes to chicks because when I first started asking them out, that was back when I was in like middle school, high school, and like had to get haircuts. So now I know for a fact that like it really does not matter. If you're not able to get a woman, you should have taken that headscarf off. All these insta fixes. Dude, I'm not kidding. If I don't get hired, it's because I didn't have a haircut. It's if I don't get a date, it's because I didn't have a haircut. If I run for office and lose, it's because I didn't get a haircut. Like this, if anything goes, dude, someone actually said that in my comment section when they talk about maybe if you get this fade or whatever, then people will want. Like, you really think someone who wants to hear about a guy talking about how hard it is to get a date is now going to suddenly be charmed into watching him because he has remember the magic cut? Of course, it doesn't matter. Insta fixes and oversimplification. I bet if you go outside right now and take off that scarf, you will see magic women falling from the sky. Oh my god, man! Like I'm not even kidding. That is embarrassing. The fact that there's grown adult, these aren't like little kids. People in their 30s, 40s, 50s believe this stuff. It all is a self parody because remember, they make it seem like they want you to do this stuff because it will advance you, and they want you to advance because they care about you, but they do almost nothing to show that they care about you. They don't call you. They don't help you with getting any food to eat. They don't help you with getting a job. They don't help you with paying for your car. All they're good for is this: running their big, giant, stinky mouth. It is a self parody. Just like I told you, when I first got turned down by a woman or a girl, whatever, and I was in like seventh grade, I was crushed. I didn't cry or anything. I was like, oh man, are you serious? I just don't feel that way. I still remember the text messages. When it happened again, I wasn't as surprised because the girl had a boyfriend, whatever. Third time felt like a repeat of the first time because she, went around making fun of me, whatever. Um, Fourth time, whatever. But it's like if I nowadays, right, got turned down by a woman and I was like, I can't believe she did this to me. I would be a self-parody because it no longer should be surprising when you get turned down. Because look at all the times that happened before. And that's what these relatives have turned into. I like, dude, in the years before, I've had relatives that paid for me to eat, paid for me, just did tangible stuff that made things a hell of a lot not as difficult. And now we have this group that gives tongue baths, right, to these ideas of, you need to get a job and you need to look this way and you need to do, but they don't do anything to help in those goals except running their mouth. This woman is kind of, I'm not going to say she's really big or anything. She's got some on her, but she has some really nice hair. Like I very much think she's got some of the best hair I've seen all day. The rest of her is not really anything I'm too excited about, but that part is good. Just like I tell you, the one that was fine with me being homeless, I hope you understand, when you are fine with someone not having a place to stay, to where you're telling them drop off your keys when they come back to the place to get some stuff, realistically, anything you say to that person after that that's like expressing concern should be considered a self-parody, because you can't say, oh, I'm worried that you eat this type of food, oh, I'm worried that you don't have a job, oh, I'm worried, whatever, when you weren't worried when you didn't know where the hell that person was. They don't care at all, but they posture as if they do, because they want to convince you of something that isn't so, and they want to look good for other people. It's just like the parent I told you about, where their kid failed so hard that they were barely able to squeeze out of their last grade without the parent having to basically put their hat on their shoulder, on their chest, and be like, please take my boy. And it's like, if they were concerned, they would study with their kid, they would go over homework with their kid, they would be talking to teachers every week to make sure their kids done all their stuff. But instead, because it's all mundane, you pop out the child and then you just do the basic utilities, whatever, because that's what you're expected to do. They're going to sit there and say or do nothing about the grades until they find out the kid is failing once again. Then suddenly they jump to the rescue and get ready to express their frustration and rage and anger, and how upset they are at their child for not measuring up to their standards, even though their standards are total bogus, because if they weren't, you would actually see them studying with their child. That's why I said, man, it's all just a big joke. The self-parody, man, just keep it's just like the people who say, uh no, I'm not going to bring them up. I did have one guy that left a comment on one of my videos. He was like, "This is the first time I've ever seen you, and I don't plan on ever watching." He's like, "Dude, you act like it makes a difference." Like, people subscribe to somebody because they like one video and then never watch the person again. Give me a break. It doesn't matter. I just feel like saying, "Shut up," just they act like their lack of viewership is something that is going to hurt me. Yes, someone wrote that on. I did a video about this lady that endorsed your favorite former president, and I was talking about how, like, she was giving him this tongue bath. She was like, "He's the father. He has my total and complete." And just like, it's one thing to say I support this person running for this office, but just the rhetoric she was using was really like weird, like almost like just cultish, just nuts. So someone in the comments said, because the video got like 700 views in 2 days, which is really good for me, for example. And someone in the comment section was like, This is the first time I've ever seen you, and I don't plan on watching you. It's like, get out of here. I didn't respond or anything, but it's just like they really act as if they matter. Like, if you do a good video, he's going to now watch you over. No, you could make the best video this site has ever seen, and the guy either would subscribe and not watch anything after that, or barely watch anything after that, because that's what these people do. They're sometimey. They're one-timey. They're a flash in the pan. They don't matter. I don't have the patience to sit there and argue back and forth with people who are going to watch one video and then never be seen again. I don't have the time for that. That's why I said one of my favorite moments ever was when it was late last year. I mentioned this on another stream, you might not remember, Megumi, but there was a guy who was insulting these celebrities. He was like, they're Z-list actors. And I remember the guy he wrote this to, not this direct comment to, but said like some other comment, because everybody was like arguing back and forth with him. One guy took his message, screenshot it, made a video talking about how stupid he was, got 3,000 views. It was so nice to see him say, you know what? I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to make some money from you. So you screenshot them, you put them in a video, talk about how stupid they are, get paid for it. I like that. I got time to sit here and fuss back and forth with you about something as dumb as and trivial as what celebrity you don't do or don't like. Get on my face. It was nice. He wrote one comment about how crazy the person in the video was. Then somebody else, little troll or whatever, tried to argue with him. He took that guy's message, screenshot it, put in the video, talk about how stupid it was, got thousands of views for it. And the guy tried to come on his channel on another account, try to argue with him. That one got gotten rid of too. Nobody has time for that. Oh, we look like sitting here arguing with random people who don't even care about us. It was good for him. I like when, just like with the triangle scam, we had stupid Jove or whatever, the Jove the drummer boy talking about you are severely deficient in several key areas. He's this big psychiatrist. I said, man, look, your messages are stupid. You can't have any empathy for another man. That's why you were trying to justify that dumb thing my relative did. So goodbye. He got screenshotted, laughed at, and made fun of. You go on the stream, write something stupid, and then it gets put in the video. So all these people should be good for. Just take them, stick them in the video, laugh at them, move on. Don't argue with them. Don't fuss. That guy that did that to the other one, he didn't even respond to the one that the troll that wrote that comment to him, didn't even write anything back. The guy wrote that message to him. He screenshot it and made a video, laughed at him. The guy found the video somehow, wrote one comment, got gotten rid of, and that was it. And the video is still getting more and more views. That's what these people need to be made into, laughing stocks. We don't need to sit here and like you will have so much more use for trolls and these like weird people that come out of the clear blue sky if you can make some coins off of them. That's the only time they're good for anything. So yeah, I stopped responding to my comment section a long time ago. At least in the format of writing something back, like screenshotting and laugh at them is one thing, but I'm not going to sit here and fuss with you about a video, especially someone I've never seen before. Like you're not worth it. You put dude, get out of here with that. It felt so nice, man. He really was writing all these replies to people, and someone took his reply to them, didn't respond by message, screenshot it, and got paid for it. You know, these people and trolls actually can benefit the content creators that pour this energy in being vindictive or argumentative. Yeah. They should benefit us. Like I said, you go to a job and somebody starts calling you a piece of whatever, you'll still get paid anyway. So it should be no different. So when I was working at that retailer, I had a lady who insulted me, said I didn't know how to count and should go back to school because the machine acted up. I think I mentioned that we're like the machine She tried to use a regular like a regular check, and the machine froze, and then she got mad at me and was like insulting towards me, and it was so bad that one of the other people that was in the line apologized on her behalf, and I got paid for it because it's like, yeah, that's the nature of this stuff where these people say weird, crazy, angry, aggressive things, and then you get some financial compensation for putting up with that trash. And I did put up with it. I felt very compelled to say something, but I just held it in. Now, Megumi, for next stream, if you want to speak to me, it'll be $40, and if you want me to sign something, it'll be $60. Oh, by the way, if you want me to stand with 4 other people, it'll be 450. I'm telling you, when I saw those prices, I said, there's no way. But they really believe themselves to just be so much better than fans that they'll charge you $500 to just stand next to them. And like I said, autographs being that much, whatever, but not to take no damn picture with an actor. That's ridiculous. And the site usually would tell you if stuff is sold out. That wasn't sold out. I wonder why. If there is a way to find out how many people, if anyone pays those prices, it'll be interesting. Well, I know the Raimi one was paid off for last yeah, for yesterday. That was paid. That was like sold out. So some people are insane enough to pay $90 to stand next to somebody in a picture. And dude, like I said, if they hadn't have confirmed that he wouldn't take a regular photo with you at his booth, I would have gone up there to see him because the regular photo doesn't cost as much as the other one. But it's so crazy to think that you can get so famous that you can make a living off of just standing next to people in pictures, not acting, not like, at least with Cameo they had seen like a little message or whatever, just standing next to someone is enough for you to make hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars. Man, some people have, my friend says these people have life on easy mode. That's how it seems. God, 60 for an autograph. Yeah, the website told me that Ramey's was sold out for Friday, so you could still get it on Saturday or Sunday. I won't get it on any day though. I was gonna say that actress actually has a like a shirt and a hat that have her picture on there, and I remember I was telling my friend, I was like, I don't like, again, I'm just, this is just my opinion. I kind of would feel sort of weird going to a convention or some other event with someone's face on my chest. Like, yeah, the price is outrageous, but like in this example, um, I guess I'll say it like this. It's one thing to pay for a picture with someone, one thing to pay for an autograph, but I don't know. I just feel I would feel kind of weird. Like if I was maybe just driving around, got their picture of them on my, chest or whatever, because I'm not, it's like I'm seeing them, but to like physically see that person and you've got a photo of them like right here, I don't know. It just, to me, that it's just not something I would be interested in doing. Like at least with the hat, I can just take it off, like you put it on, you throw it off and you round them, whatever. But all day long, your face on my chest, I just, I don't know. Dude, this is an era of extremes. These ridiculous prices for the most minute of stuff. I tell you, the autographs, if they want to charge 200 for that, go right ahead. But for a picture with them, no. Even if I was an actor, the most I would charge maybe like 20. Is that the merch? Yeah. I was saying I would feel very uncomfortable like walking around with someone's face on my chest. especially at an event that they were in or going to be at or whatever. I remember we were talking about like the female clothes and the nervousness. Like I'd feel more nervous with that than with any of the chick stuff. So I said, at least with the hat, you can just take it off, like right there. But as far as like, hey, how are you? And then you see her like face on my, I couldn't do it. You can have that. Understandable. I get why that would be unnerving to you. Well, you know what I mean? It's like you're a fan of someone, sure, whatever, but I just couldn't imagine being around the person with their image on you. Like, if I went up to someone, I have their book that has their picture on it, whatever. If I go up to someone that has, let's say I have their picture of me and them as my screensaver or my background, whatever. But just like the idea of, hi, lady who doesn't know who I am, man who doesn't know who I am. I like you so much. I walk around with the shirt with your face on it. Dude, I would feel so weird if that happened to me. Like if I was famous enough for something like that to happen. Like what in the world? Guy is standing right over there. What else was I gonna say? But yeah, besides a really aggravating morning where I was driving back and forth, uh, today hasn't really even technically began. I still have to go run my other errand. What about if the pictures of a character need the actual VA? Oh, that's different because the character's not them. That's different. Yeah, if it like I'll give you an example. Um Let me think of something. If like let's say I was running for office and I have my name on shirts or whatever and people are wearing those, that doesn't bother me just because that's just my name and they're like specifically showing their support for me. But as far as like my picture, like my actual photo of me on your shirt or hat or whatever, if it's just my name or a character I played or whatever, that like the that's one thing. Like if I go up to Mark Hamill with my Luke Skywalker shirt, he's got his green lightsaber. It's like I'm not gonna feel weird because that's the character. Not that I'll ever go around him for no damn $3.99. Like I said, I don't know how anybody can even go to more than one convention every other year without being a millionaire. Like the prices to even go to these other states with planes is one thing. And I already said before, I really don't want to go on a plane by myself again. But then it's like you got to get the hotel room, pay for the car, pay to even get to the convention. Like that's a solid $3,000 or $4,000 that it's going to cost just to do all that stuff. And I don't have it in me to just shell out all that money for something like that. But yeah, I already know Megumi won't be successful because he wouldn't take off that damn scarf. If he would just remove the head scarf, he would see this great magic change. Hey, I didn't even get to say the great triangle hope, where people like preach this idea of, oh, the woman will show up one day. That's what my new term for it. You have the triangle scam and the great triangle hope, where they're like praying, please, woman, show up. So yeah, if you don't get hired by anywhere, it's because of the scarf. If you don't get 1 million subscribers because of the scarf. I'm telling you, dude, the Insta fix is like it's one of the worst things that ever happened to humanity. Just like the idea that grown adults sit around and they're like, if this one thing was different, you would see a change. Like it's just crazy. That one fatal flaw. They believe that garbage. Like they truly think if you just did this one thing differently, oh my god. I'm so sick of that, man. Oh, speaking of self parodies, let's not forget the relative who wants their house to be clean, but they can never take out the trash. That's another one. Or the relative that wants you to take out the trash every time you come home from work, but then they're sitting at the house literally all day long. So the trash needs to be taken out so urgently you have to go and take it out every day. But it also isn't so urgent as for this person to sit there with it for the entire day. I'm working. Yeah, you're working at home, sitting at your desk, talking on the phone with people, watching movies while you're typing stuff. Yeah, you're not working that hard. I bet you wish you had a job where you could just stay at home in your room, wear whatever you want, eat anytime you want. I bet you wish you had that. That's an ideal job where you get to just you're working, but then you have these objectives, right? But then you also get to do other stuff too while you're working because there's no one there monitoring you. I'm working. I'm working. What a joke, man. I don't care how many hours they work. They're extremely lazy if they cannot take out the trash and would rather sit there and wait for somebody else to get back to the house before finally being concerned about it. Ugh. I didn't even know I knocked the thing over. No, the only times I've ever had any employer express concern about like hair is when it comes to like if I work at a food place, they want to cut the beard or whatever. But I mean, that's not what they're talking about. They're complaining about my actual regular hair as being too long, which I've never had a problem with anyone saying this is the reason we, like that. It's literally just, again, it's the fatal flaw. It's just this thing that they pick, overinflate the importance of, and they expect you to go, yep, yep, yep. Very ideal indeed. Exactly. You'd be much more relaxed and flexible with doing anything you want to as long as you get your work done. Yeah. Imagine having a job where all you do is sit at your house typing on the computer a couple of calls a day. And you can't get the trash. You really can't go and grab the trash at all ever. It was very ideal. So I said no one defends that bastard other than the same like two people. That's why their own parent called them a B word. I don't blame them. They were right. I'm not making that up either. Like their own parent called them that. I sat right there nodding in agreement. I was like, yep, 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 yep. But yeah, Megumi, I hope you've enjoyed hearing about the self parody. All these people sitting there wagging their finger, telling you to do something, but they never assist you with doing it, but they want to act like they're so concerned. And remember, it doesn't matter what the price is. 4,000 to go to school, too much. $50 for you to eat every week, too much. $30 for you to get half a tank, too much. How much it costs you to go to help me with getting a job? Oh, it's free. Oh, too much. So I said like it's just it's people running their mouths because they have nothing else to offer you. And that's why they get ignored. That's why I don't take them seriously, because they're jokes. So I'll be back on Monday. I hope you enjoyed this stream. I'm sorry the last one got cut off. I tried to go a little bit longer than normal for that reason, because I really don't like it when the stuff just pops off. But I didn't feel, I also couldn't restart that day because I had to go up to that interview, which went nowhere. So I'm regretting even bothering trying. Is there anything else you want to say before I wrap this up? Because I want to run my errands and get something to eat and then relax for a second. This woman has some really nice pants. Any further comments, statements, theories, thoughts, concerns? Like I said, you can pay an actual accredited actress to have more of a relationship with you. I'm not talking about romantic. I'm just saying, well, like to speak to you. Then you will see regular women talk to you. That's all you need to know about the self-parody. That the regular women act more like celebrities than celebrity women. Dude, no, I won't be able to take it. But yeah, I'll be back on Monday. So thanks for showing up. Akatsuki Merchant was here earlier. It is really insane because, like I said, I'm not trying to get with that actress. She's the same age as my dad with 2 kids. But it's like, if I want to speak to her, if I pay a price, I can, and it'll be consistent, and she'll actually respond, and she'll gift you things for donating to her at certain amounts. Like, that sounds like more of a relationship with someone than any of these bastards off the computer. So yeah, thanks for showing up. Same thing with Akatsuki Merchant. Have a good rest of your day, and I appreciate the contribution. It's been an insane year, and I'm trying to survive, and I thank you for that.